Hello there guys and welcome back to the channel. So today for episode 8 of Fun But Impractical series, we're going to be taking a look at Carnage. Now Carnage was a bit of a weird one because in itself he isn't even all that impractical because he is not difficult to play. The problem is that he does not have much utility in him. He can deal a lot of damage. A lot of that damage is a ramp up, and there are frankly better ramp up champions with more utility. And that's about it, but he is extreme fun to play just because of his animations, his playstyle, his unblockable specials, how many specials you can throw because of his increased power gain, and it's just an insane time. So in today's video, we're going to be checking out how 3-star Carnage can deal with Realm of Legends Wolverine. Now first things first, we are running Max Despair Mastery, and we're going to get into our game plan in a second. So all this fight is actually regular speed, and even though the hit counter goes up rapidly, the actual length of the fight isn't that long, and that's one of the misleading things about Carnage that people often kind of misunderstand. They look at the number of hits it takes in a fight and they don't actually take a look at how long the fight was or how easy it was. So first things first, Carnage hit count is always massively inflated just because of his playstyle, just because all of his specials are multiple hits and you spam them a lot. But that being said, let's get into how he works. So you start fights off with a heavy attack that places fairly long yet not too strong of a bleed on opponent, and then if opponent is already bleeding, all your special attacks are unblockable and you have a chance to kind of place bleed on opponent every time you hit. You also have 25% chance to refresh all the active bleeds, and every time you launch a special attack you start to mutate, and based on what kind of hit you have landed on opponent at the time the mutation expires, you gain a permanent buff, either fury or cruelty or precision or physical resistance if the last action you did was to block or receive a hit. Typically, maximum amount of buffs you can place on yourself is 5, however, synergy with Venom allows you to gain an extra buff, so in this case we are using 3 Carnages, 1 Venom, so we can get actually to 8 buffs. We chose to go with 4 Furies, 2 Cruelties, and 2 Precision passives, which I feel is kind of well-rounded mix to increase our crit rate, crit damage, and attack. So now our base point is to keep as many bleeds as we possibly can on Wolverine in order to prevent him from healing. To help me with that, I occasionally throw in an extra heavy attack here and there, just because if we refresh the bleeds on time, heavy attack bleed is the one that lasts the longest. So that means even if we do not manage to refresh our bleeds for a while, at least the heavy attack bleeds will stick on. And that is exactly what we need in this kind of fight to keep maximum amount of bleeds on Wolverine at all times in order to negate his regen, because this Wolverine's regen is absolutely insane. Even if we drop the bleeds for a second, we would pretty much have to start all over, because this is 3-star. Even though Carnage damage is fairly great, I'm not gonna lie, once he's ramped up, his damage is up there with the best of the best. The reason why you don't see too much of Carnage gameplay is his lack of utility essentially, and a reliance on ramping up. Like in this case, to gain 8 buffs means you need to land 8 special 1 attacks, which is a large amount of time to be kind of investing in a regular questing fight. But once that's done, he actually is performing fairly phenomenal. As we can see here, for most part, opponent is at about 10 to 20 bleeds. I think at some point we're gonna cross 30 bleed mark, and that is some insane damage over time from a 3-star. As you can see here, he's ticking basically from our bleeds by a lot. It is fairly difficult to see quite often just because you see the numbers swirling all about there, but the bleeds are hitting him for pretty much over 1,000 a tick at many points, and we're gonna get it over 2k I believe, or 3k at some points. So like at this point he was at 22 bleeds. That's some insane damage over time from a 3-star champion. And obviously Despair Mastery makes sure that all of those bleeds are negating the regen, and it's just extremely kind of fun, savage, aggressive fight. 32 bleeds, 33 bleeds, 37 bleeds at one point. That is insane. But that is gonna do for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and if you did, don't forget to hit that sub button, like button, hit all the buttons. I'm gonna see you guys soon. Later.